So, in this case, we are going to talk about the new advancement or the new technology that is spintronics. So, talking about the concept of spintronics, it is nothing but related to the spin property of the electron. So, normally, whenever we talk about electron, it has two properties. That is, one is the charge of the electron, gives us a certain property, and the spin of electron gives us another property. So the spin of electron gives us the property, or you can say the technology termed as spintronics, and this spintronics is the future very much important advancement in this particular spintronic applications. So whenever we talk about spintronics, we are going to talk about the electronic or the systems which are electronically based completely on the spin of the electrons. So whenever we are talking about the spintronics, we can say that these are the electronics which are completely based or completely dependent on the spin of the electrons. Like normally, all the electronic devices are dependent on the charge of electron, but the future advancement or the recent development is going on the electronics being developed with the help of spin of the electrons. So we have two classifications whenever we are talking about the electronic devices. Either we can say that the charge of electron, or we can even talk about the spin of electron. So charge of electron gives rise to your normal electronic devices, but whenever we talk about the spin of the electronic devices, or the spin of electron being used in the electronic devices, is going to be leading to the concept called as spintronics. So spintronics is nothing but it is a quantum mechanical property, and secondly, it is that is the spin motion of the electron will give rise to a small magnetic field. That is, whenever we talk about the electron being spinned or the spin property of the electron, it is first of all a quantum mechanical property. Secondly, the spin of electron is going to give magnetic field or magnetic property to the charge. Like for example, if I say the electron possesses the spin property, so that electron is going to behave as tiny magnets. And once I say that, because of the spin motion of the electron is behaving as a tiny magnet. So electron spin can have two directions. Either it can have the direction in the upward or in the downward direction. So if I have the direction of electron spin in the upward direction, it is considered to be spin up, and if I have the spinning of electron in the downward direction, it is considered as spin down direction. So we can have either of the two directions, that is spin up and spin down. That is the two directions of the spin of electron. So whenever we say that spin of electrons, or like normally electrons are supposed to have charge, but right now once we are talking about the technology called as spintronics, we are going to only consider the spin property of the electrons. And due to the spin property of the electron, that is due to the rotational motion, this electron starts behaving as tiny magnets, and they are going to have the magnetic properties, and that magnetic properties is completely dependent on the direction of spin. And whenever I say direction of spin, we mean to say that there is two directions, that is spin up and spin down. Next is, if I compare conventional electronics with your spintronics. What do I mean by conventional electronics? The normal electronic system. Whenever we say normal electronic system, it is first of all a classical phenomena, or it is applicable to the classical properties. But once you come to the spintronics part, it is applicable to the quantum property. So whenever we talk about the electronic devices, normal electronic devices, they show the property that is classical property. But once you come to spintronics, they have the quantum property. Secondly, all the electronic devices, that is conventional electronics, they are all dependent on the charge of electron. But once we talk about spintronics, they are completely dependent on the spin of electrons. Next is, if you look at the differentiation between these two, that is conventional electronics and the spin electronics, the the speed of operation in normal electronic devices is limited. But if we go to the speed of operation in spintronics, it's very high. And secondly, the spin of electron or the spin motion of the electron is giving rise to many properties, many multi-purpose devices, like we can make use or make we can make amplifiers with the help of spintronics. So this is what we can compare, or we can talk about the comparison between the conventional electronics, that is the normal electronic devices, which are completely based on the charge of electron. And whenever we compare it with spintronics, spintronics has more advantages as compared to the conventional electronics. And the spin electronics is completely having property related to the spin motion of the electron. Next is, when I say spin motion of electron, it is the intrinsic property of the electron. That is, the intrinsic angular momentum possessed by the electron is nothing but called as the spin motion. And as I said that we can have two directions of spin. Either I can have spin up or spin down. So there are two orientations of this spin up or spin down, which is going to have the magnitudes in the range of h cross by 2. Now what I mean by h cross, it is going to be related to the term called as Planck constant, which is normally denoted by the value of h. So the spin up and spin down values, or the direction of spin of electron, will have either the spin up direction or spin down direction, giving me different orientations of the spin of magnet. And this will give rise to the property called as, or the technology called as, spintronics. Next is, obviously, as I said, because of the spin motion of electron starts behaving as a tiny magnet. So if the electron is behaving as a tiny magnet, it will create its own magnetic field around it, and it is going to possess two poles, that is, one is the north pole and the other one is the south pole. So in this case, this two diagrams are indicating that we have two electrons which is possessing spin motion, and because of the spin motion they are behaving as tiny magnet. And as we can see that if the electrons are moving in this direction, that is anti-clockwise, so the spin is in the anti-clockwise direction, so the north pole is going to lie over here and the south pole will be over here. And this is for the spin value, that is ms value of plus half. But if the spinning motion of electron is in the clockwise direction, in that case we'll get the north pole in this upward direction and the south pole in the downward direction, and this orientation will give rise to the spin value of minus half. So depending upon the spinning of electron, whether anti-clockwise or clockwise, we are getting the directions of the spin, and the electrons which are spinning, they are behaving as the tiny magnets having two poles, that is north pole and the south pole. And these are the only two orientations which are possible due to the spin of electron, either in anti-clockwise sense or the clockwise sense. So hence we are referring again and again that the two orientations are only possible, that is two direction of spin is only possible with the value of plus half and minus half, giving me the spin up direction and the spin down direction. So we can have two orientations depending upon the spinning direction of the electron. Next is, why we need spintronics. Like, what is the purpose of using spintronics? Because we are already aware that we have lots of electronic devices. We have even a large amount of advancement in the electronic devices. So obviously the question arises that why do we require spintronics in our electronical or industrial application? So this concept or the requirement of spintronics is dependent on a law which is called as Moore's law. Now what is this Moore's law? Is that he stated that whenever we talk about the number of transistors on a silicon chip, that number of transistors will roughly get doubled every 18th month. That is called as Moore's law. That means the law stated that the number of transistors which are implanted on that silicon chip will be roughly doubling for every 18 months. But as every 18 months is passed, the number of transistors will keep on getting doubled. So, as the doubling of transistors or other component increases, or as the number of transistors and component increases on a single chip, we have to consider them on the nanoscale. So already with the increase in number of transistors and number of components on a single chip, we have started taking the scale to the nanoscale arrangement, but we can't decrease the size of the chip to a very lower limit. Why? Because if we keep on decreasing the size of the number of transistors, as I say, that the number of transistors on a single chip is being doubled every 18 months. So after every 18 month, the number of transistors value will keep on increasing. So we need to decrease the size, but decrease in size should be limited. Why? Because if we decrease the size of the silicon chip or transistors by large amount, it will give me two disadvantages. First is it will give me a scorching heat. What do you mean by scorching is that heat is that because this scorching heat gives makes the circuit inoperable. So if we are not able to operate the circuit because of the heat being produced, why? Because we have decreased the size of the chip or the transistors or the components available on them. So if the size is being decreased lower than the nanoscale arrangement, so it gave rise to the first disadvantage, that is the scorching heat. And if there is a presence of scorching heat, it will make the circuit inoperable. Secondly, the quantum effects come into picture as we go to the lower or reduction in size. As we go below the nanoscale, the quantum effect come into picture. So these are the disadvantages which come into picture if we keep on decreasing the size of the transistors or the components which are implanted on the chip. So we have a certain limit to the reduction of size. So we can't keep on decreasing the size of transistors or components on the chip. So this is why, like, limitation to the decrease in size has given the new development of the technology called as spintronics, which is obviously related that failure of Moore's law gives us the new concept or the new technology which is termed as spintronics. Now, when we talk about spintronic, it is again spin is related with charge. That is, either we can consider the spin property of electron or the charge property of electron, but basically we prefer spin property of the electron in this case of spintronics. And when we come to the application part of the spintronics, it can be used in the hard disk drive. That is, it is used for the massive storage devices, like the using the spintronics we can talk about the increase in the storage power. And secondly, whenever we talk about the spin up and spin down directions, that is direction of spin, it will give me the directions of magnetic field, and this is used in the quantum computing. So the spintronics has many applications. We can say the storage devices is going to be massive with the help of spintronics. We can even apply the spintronics in MRAM, that is the magnetoresistance random access memory, and we can even apply in SpinFET. So this is what you talk about the applications of spintronic. And so in terms of applications of spintronic, as spintronic is going to give me the advancement and the massive storage devices, and we can store large amount, about 1 terabyte data in a very small space. So this is all the applications of spintronics, and we can even make use of the spintronics in the material called as spinfet, that is spin filled effect transistors. So this is what you talk about the applications of spintronic. And still this technology is being further studied, and it is going to give a rise to many more developments. So this is what is all about the spintronic concept. Thank you so much.